Welcome everyone to our session today on Introduction to ChatGPT. I love this app because of the fact that it's going to save us time and it's going to save us a lot of headaches along the way. So let me just kind of start by letting you know what exactly is ChatGPT. Well, ChatGPT, which the chat part of it is referring to having a conversation. Now, who are you having a conversation with? Well, in this web-based AI tool called ChatGPT, we're having a conversation with a system. So it has uh, a program behind it. It's called a large language model. It is trained to be able to answer questions based on the prompts that we give it. And it gives us a human-like response. The GPT part of that, as you can see on my screen, is it's the chat generative pre-trained transformer is what the whole thing stands for. So when you see it's that generative pre-transformer, just so you're aware of some of that terminology that we have behind things. So ChatGPT is a web-based tool that you can use for free, and we'll talk about licensing here in a moment, but you can use for free or you can have a paid for version. And basically you can go to that system, whether you're using it through your phone or going to the internet, you can use the system to ask it questions, to have it help analyze data from a file, have it help create a presentation or the outline to a presentation or create images or whatever it is you really need help with. My sister was just telling me she's leaving tomorrow for a trip for her 50th wedding anniversary, and she said she actually used this AI tool to plan her whole trip. So she said, this is where we're flying out of, this is where we want to fly into, should we do for sightseeing? What's based on our age, based on our, athletic ability, they're very athletic. They love hiking and different things. And they could even book their flights and their hotel rooms directly through it. So it is blowing my mind the different things that we can be using this tool for. So with that being said, let's dive into a couple of things about ChatGPT. So it can help you. And by the way, if you open up your handout, all of this is going to be listed in your handout as well, just kind of talking about some different ways that you can use it. So just so you know, ChatGPT can use to write or edit emails. And I got to tell you, I use AI like this all the time, because I'm not always sure if the way I wrote my message really sounds correct based on, who am I sending it to? What kind of tone did I really want it to have? What kind of tone did I use? And I don't even realize. So it can definitely help with that. I also use it to help me write blog posts. So these are very similar to the ways that I use them. But also, side of things, you can also use it for social media. You could be using it for helping you with a resume, or it can even help you analyze multiple resumes. So if you're the person doing the hiring and you receive, you could even and if you're hiring, it can help you with your job description. I don't know about you, but it's like, okay, I wrote this 7 years ago. Is that still relevant or not? So kind of not real sure. I want to have Copilot or have ChatGPT really help me out with that. So it can do a lot of different things. You just have to kind of play with it a little bit to have an idea as to how it can work. But you can go directly to the website chatgpt.com and access the application. If you don't already have an account set up, whether it's a free account or it's an account that you have an enterprise account with your company, you would need to get an account set up first. They will require you to put in your name, your email address, your normal information. But this website that I'm on right now, if you want to look at the address up at the top, it's openai.com/chatgpt/pricing. This will walk you through what is included and how much does it cost. So here's what you get in the free version, here's what you get in the plus, here's what you get in the pro version, and then there is a team version and an enterprise version. So this website can really help you to understand which package should you have. Now for me, I have plus. Plus has been just fine for me. I upgraded from free to plus. So I pay $20 a month. And some people that I know have upgraded from there. So you can always start with one, and then if you feel you need more, you can always upgrade. So it can be a path that you follow. But otherwise, this is what it's going to look like when you actually come into ChatGPT. So this is the main window, which I'll describe how you use it and everything as we go through. But I do want to, in your handout, you will find on page 2 the versions of ChatGPT, because yes, there is all these different flavors of it, but inside it, we have different models. So when we go into ChatGPT, depending on, do you have the free version? Do you have a paid for version? And which paid for version do you have? There's different GPTs. They're called a model. There's different levels of those that are going to give you different capabilities. So I outlined those for you, like GPT 4.1, GPT 4.1 mini, which was released back in April of this year. Also in April, there was an O3, O stands for Omni. There's an O4 Mini. So all of those are described for you. There's also a GPT-4o released in May as well. Okay. There is new ones that, of course, are coming out. And as a matter of fact, oops, sorry, I was on the slide. ChatGPT 5 is available in some of the versions. But not all of them. So it is actually being released here this month. So if you haven't already received the version 5, which is ChatGPT-5, that is coming. You should be getting it anytime within the next few weeks. If you don't have it already, you'll have it for sure by the end of the month. But once again, that's depending on the licensing that you have. So if you have a paid for version versus the free version. The free version, I don't know for sure when that's expected to be released to the free version. But every GPT, whether it's 4, it's 5, whatever, they enhance the application. At time, I haven't gotten 5 yet, and I'm on the plus version. I haven't gotten my update yet. I'm expecting it though. I think it'll be here. That's early part of the next week, I think, is when we're expected to get it based on plus from the last post that I saw. But we can never, trust that, of course, but we're hoping. Now, every time there's a new one, just so you're aware, they do make additional strength in them. They add in new features. So the strength part of it, what that's referring to is they get faster, because when it first came out, and even with the free version still, it's slow. It can be a little slow to run. Also, the system, this large language model, is trained. So when we think about that, people are constantly training it so that if we ask a question, it knows how to respond in a human-like answer. And it is continuously learning. Well, the latest and greatest versions are the most up to date. So we need to keep in mind that Copilot isn't always accurate. because it may not have exactly the most current information. Okay, so let's talk about some practical uses of ChatGPT. Well, what if you're in the marketing department? You could be using ChatGPT in the marketing department for a lot of different things. And when I stop and think about marketing or sales and the way that I personally have been using it, oh my goodness, has it helped me a lot. I already mentioned that the blog posts. So I could actually tell ChatGPT I want this topic in a 2-paragraph funny blog. I want it to be a 2-minute read, whatever the case might be. Whether I'm doing email campaign to target people that have already purchased this product from us, but we have a new one coming out and I want them to know about one. I could have it, but even it's amazing the different customer service. Sorry, it looks like I froze there for a second. I'm not sure what's going on there. I have full internet connection, kind of weird. But anyway, so it sounds like I need. So
Sorry,
with
folks.
customer
Oh,
service, sorry about that. I don't know what in
okay.
the world's going on. I just checked
Looks
everything and it looks all good, but oh well. I'll just keep
okay.
going.
All right.
So when it comes to using customer service features, I just did this. I had a policy that a customer asked about this policy, and it's like, you know what? Let me check into that. I had ChatGPT look at that file and analyze it for me. Give me a summary of what this really says. Explain this piece to me. I was blown away. It's like I would have never understood this if I didn't have ChatGPT to help me with that. Also, it continues talking about operations and productivity, whether it's project planning, it's meeting summaries. It's just unbelievable. I use it 100% in an HR department. When I was talking about job descriptions, I even do interview questions. It helps me with my onboarding material. So when we have a new coworker start, what materials is it that they need? Even looking at the current materials to see if they're outdated. Are we following the right protocols for our organization? Finance and reporting is another area. Report writing, helping with KPIs, budget proposals, cost analysis summary. It can actually take an Excel file and create a chart from the data. It can look up information within the Excel file so that we don't have to analyze it ourselves. You could just ask ChatGPT to do that for you. Creativity and product development is a big area as well. It talks about brainstorming sessions. I got to tell you, I use ChatGPT a lot for brainstorming. It's like sometimes I don't even know how to get started, but then ChatGPT can give me some ideas and then our brains start to flow. And it can help us along the way, but boy, sometimes we're at a stalemate and we just need some help on getting started. The slogans, the taglines, unbelievable, the things we use ChatGPT for. But we need to remember there's some certain things with any AI tool that we need to be aware of. And those kind of things are going to be the fact that it's not 100%. It's going to make mistakes. So we always want to double check our facts and figures. But some pro tips on using ChatGPT for business: give content, include who is going to be your audience. What kind of tone do you want on that email you're having it generate? What is the purpose, the objective behind it? If you're requesting specific formatting, You want it to provide you with the formatting. You could even give it a file and say, I want to match the formatting from this file. I've done that with company templates and showed people how easy that can be. That's a really cool tool. Also, refine, rewrite what you gave to Copilot as your prompt, as your chat conversation, to see if it comes back with a different way of answering what we were prompting it for. So just to give you an idea, I'm going to go through a step-by-step example for you that's in your book, where the scenario is you run a small consulting firm and want to draft an email or whatever to a client. So I'm just going to take some information and put it into ChatGPT just so you could get an idea as to how this works. So when I'm in the ChatGPT window, we have a menu on the left-hand side, which I'll go through with you in just a few moments. But on the right-hand side, it says, what are you working on? So what I want to do is go to Ask Anything, and I'm going to put in my information. Now, it doesn't have to be in quotes. That just happened to be what I had typed in, and I copied and pasted it. So what I asked it or told it was, I need a professional persuasive email to introduce my consulting services to a potential client in the manufacturing industry. The tone but approachable, and it should highlight cost savings and process improvements. Now, if that's what it is I'm looking for, I can just click my send.
Oh, we are trying to improve the connection here with Jolyn, but while she is reconnecting here, um, we'll address this session. Jolyn has referred to ChatGPT, or she said Copilot instead of ChatGPT a couple times. Um,
I did.
yes,
It's just habit.
yeah.
Every time I'm in Copilot, but did somebody want to know the difference between them?
No, someone is just
Or,
wondering, are they the same? Because you're using the
oh,
words interchangeably. Yeah.
yeah. No, they're not the same. I didn't catch if you were explaining that to them.
Yeah, I was just about to, but you just cued in right at the perfect time. So yeah, they're not the
Okay.
same. Is yeah,
No,
maybe.
and I apologize for that. That's totally me. I interchange those two all the time because both of them are AI tools and they work very similar. But Copilot is the built-in Microsoft version of a chatting tool. It's called Copilot. This one is free to, well, so is Copilot. It's free to everybody, or you can have a paid for version. It's just another flavor of it. So they're both going to do the same similar things. But one, the Copilot one, can be directly connected to your Microsoft account and analyze information in your account. This one can't. We have to give it the file and give it more detail. But they both work awesome. You got to try them both.
And
You'll find what you like best.
that's maybe why you're using them interchangeably, because I know Jolyn uses Copilot for certain tasks and ChatGPT for different
Yes,
tasks, and so it's all one thing for Jolyn, really.
I
Is that right?
do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
anyway, just so you can see what the response was that I received back from ChatGPT. So it's even asking me down at the bottom if I want to generate an image to go along with this. But you could see, dear client, blah, blah, blah. It's got all this detail that it's giving where I could fill in the blanks or I could tell it, I'll fill that and actually just click copy, put this in a Word document, an email or wherever, and I could go from there. But what if I want to continue this conversation to refine it a little bit? We have the capability of continuing the conversation. So let me show you how you might do that. I'm going to add in So we can continue to prompt it, and it will automatically answer back based on that prompt that we give it. So we can continue to do different conversations with our chat GPT to have it refine whatever it is that we are actually asking it. So if I want it to change it again and again and again, we can do that. We can keep going with that conversation. But the whole thing is all about writing prompts. Also, in your handout is some information on writing prompts in ChatGPT. When it comes to using ChatGPT, that we have ChatGPT is the prompt so that it knows what it is that we need. You can give it a simple prompt like write a poem about coffee, or we can be more specific and say write a 100-word humorous poem about coffee in rhyming couplets. Or we could do it based on role based. And I do this quite a bit where I'll say act as a finance advisor and compare leasing versus buying equipment for a small business. So prompting is, so I should say, the result of what you get back out of ChatGPT is going to depend on your prompt. So the better the prompt, the better the result is going to be that you receive back. So a professional guide to writing good ChatGPT prompts, which is also listed in your handout. One is start with clear intent. State exactly what you want and why you need it. Avoid vague requests like, tell me about marketing. That's too open of a question. Tell me about marketing. You really want to narrow down exactly what it is you're looking for about marketing. Are you putting in the right tone? Are you letting it know you want it to be casual? You want the prompt to be friendly, professional, informant? Are you selling something? Are you trying to explain something? Content. And then, of course, if it's going to be a specific format, you want it to be bullet points, you want it to be paragraphs, you want it to be a chart, you want it to be a blog post, you want it to be an email. Let it know those kind of things so that it's much better on the result. It will save you time and headaches. So an example of this one is write a professional yet friendly LinkedIn post about HR managers, blah, blah, and we could tell it how many words we want or whatever it is that want to get out of the chat GPT, out of the chatting with the system. Break it down into from big requests into smaller requests. You can kind of think about separating things if you need to. Request specific formatting, I've already mentioned that one. So if you want tables, you want bullets, that kind of thing, paragraphs, do that. Use follow-up refinements as well. Make it more concise. So I like what you did, but can you make it just a little more concise? Use simpler language from non-technical readers. A lot of times I'm going to put that up front. I'm going to say, explain to me how to use a fire extinguisher as if you were talking to a 10-year-old. So we can have whatever it is that we tell it, the better the result is going to come back based on the way that you're prompting. So I've got a few more others, ask for multiple versions. So ask it to retry again, just so that you have some different options to choose from. But no matter what, you always want to verify the information that you get out of ChatGPT because it tells you that it can make mistakes. It says it right on the screen, right down here at the bottom. ChatGPT can make mistakes, check important information. So no matter how good your prompt is, still, if you do not give it a good prompt, you won't get a good response, but is that response 100% accurate? You need to verify it. And another thing out of there too, if you get a good response, so if I got this and I really like it, I could come down and copy it, put it in an email, put it in a Word document, whatever your case might be. I'm never going to leave it word for word on how it came out. I am always going to put my own little spin on it because I want to make sure that it sounds like it's coming from me. It's not system generated. So we want to make sure that it sounds like it's coming from us. So I don't know if you've ever had an AI tool answer a phone for you or anything like that. I just did earlier today. I was calling a place and it was clearly an AI person. And right away they ask what your name is, and then they go through it and they say your name a million times. It got to the point where you don't need to say my name 4 times in the same sentence. It was really bad, but the rest of it worked great. I mean, it was just the way that they had trained it to do it. Um, I just personally would change it a little bit. But let's see some examples of different things that you might want to be using ChatGPT to do. I had already seen a particular chat. First off, just so you're aware, on the left-hand side of the screen, if you want to start a brand new chat because it's going to be a totally different discussion, you don't want to continue with the same discussion, start a new chat instead. So I'm going to click new chat. And just so you're aware, on the right-hand side of the screen at the top left, it says ChatGPT 4.0. If I click that drop down, it's going to show you the models you have available right now. And it tells you a little bit about them. So which one do you want to use? So the one that I'm using is great for. So anyway, let's continue. Hopefully it won't be absolutely horrible. But I was mentioning because I think this is good to understand. At the top left, when you go to the different models, if you read the descriptions all the way down through other models, they are better at certain things. So depending on what you're using it for, you might want to come in and use a different model so that it's more related to what it is that your objective is of what your chat's going to be about. So let's see a couple of other examples of using it. Let's say that I actually want to look up the latest HP printers that do double-sided printing, it does scanning, etc. I could even be so people always ask me, can I just go to the internet and search for something? Well, you can, and let me show you the difference. So right now I'm putting in what are the latest HP printers that do double-sided printing, scanning, etc. When I do that, I'm going to get specific results. I'm going to get great links. It can even take you in further to help answer questions and whatnot. I could say, well, give me the details on this particular model. What kind of pricing is out there? I'm chatting with the system to get this information. If I tried to do that same thing by just going to my internet browser, I'm going to get millions of different results. Well, maybe not millions in this case. Well, I did. 1,450,000 results searching for the same exact thing. So I really like what I got back in ChatGPT. I like the results that I got back here much better than ever going to the internet to search for anything like this. But you can carry on that conversation with the system to ask it further details. So, which one has the largest paper tray? Whatever it is that you're trying to narrow down, you can continue the conversation with it, and it's going to let you know the information on that. So here it's even giving me a summary comparison, which is pretty cool that it does that. So in conclusion, blah, 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 here's the information. But we got those links and everything, and to me, doing things like that with ChatGPT is just smarter. Just smarter. But we want to be very careful on what it is that we're doing. And I'm going to go back to the left and I'm going to click new chat again and start a different conversation. Because if I put in a prompt, like I mentioned earlier, tell me about marketing. That's not really going to give me the right details that I could be looking for. Because what if I'm looking for something specific? So here's core components of marketing. Okay, great. Well, if I didn't know anything about marketing, that might be nice. But what if I really were looking for something like this? Give me a 5-step marketing plan for a small landscaping business targeting local homeowners. I'm going to get a more targeted response out of the system. I'm not going to get generic information piling in that I have to weed through and try and figure out how I'm going to use it. So you really want to think about how you want things to be provided. So when we talk about having So when we talk about define the target market, build a local online presence, here's some things you could do, offer a local promotion, follow up and build relationships. But let me give you another example, because the more you practice with this, the more you can learn what it can do for you. But here's one: write a professional yet friendly LinkedIn post for HR managers about the benefits of using AI in recruitment, and keep it under 150 words. So ChatGPT can follow those rules. I can say, I need a presentation about this topic, but I only want 10 slides. It can do that for you. It can create those things for you. So it's you could even go back and have it summarize. If it's too long, too short, thank you for your patience, everyone. But if I do a new chat, I could even click the plus sign. And the plus sign is going to give me adding photos or files that I want to have ChatGPT analyze for me. I could have it create an image. I could use agents. There's all these different tools, which I do have listed in your handout to analyze a file. So it can go out to my computer. I can locate a file that I want it to use. And then from there, we have the capability of asking it questions or whatever it is that we need. So I'm going to take this Word document. So Copilot can analyze this Word document. So it's uploading it. And maybe I wanted to summarize gotta spell that correctly, sorry, summarize this document into 3 short paragraphs. Just so you know, you can be that specific. I want 5 bulleted items summarizing this. I could ask it, does this document include, or if I use an Excel file, if I attach an Excel file to ChatGPT, you can tell it you want a chart based on this information. I'm going to put in, find the top selling products from this Excel sheet. Inside this Excel workbook, I happen to have company orders. Let me see what it comes back with. Oh my gosh, that was quick. It was analyzing it that quickly. So it's coming back with that analysis, and it's still doing some analysis, but find the top selling products from this sheet. Here's the top salespeople. Here's their numbers. So the top selling products by total revenue in this set are, here's my top 5. Here's the units sold, their total sales. Unbelievable how quick and easy that can be to get that information directly here through ChatGPT. So sometimes I don't need to open the file. I just need to know some information out of the file. I can have it help me rewrite information out of a file. Or I could say, how many sales, let me ask it this, how many sales did Andrew Fuller have in the first quarter? I don't have to run a report, a pivot table, or anything to get that information. ChatGPT can do that for me. So a lot of times if I'm going in a meeting or anything, I'll just go ahead and have the file uploaded here because I know everybody's going to be asking questions about to Word documents, whatever the case might be. You could upload both of those and ask ChatGPT to compare them, let you know what's different between the 2 documents. It can create a chart based on the spreadsheet I have open. It could generate images based on information that we give it. It's pretty amazing on what it can do. But I want to explain the rest of the window. So we did some practicing, which I highly recommend you do as well. Practice different ways of prompting so that you can get a better idea as to the results that you get based on how you're prompting. But back on the left-hand side, you can search your previous chats. It does have, under this category towards the bottom here, where it says chats, these are my previous chats. So if I want to go back to a previous chat, all I have to do is click on it and it takes me back to the previous chat. So if I go into this Microsoft stock inquiry, or I wanted a logo for a coffee shop, it generated a, I said that I want to use these colors, whatever the case may be, and it automatically can generate images based on that. It is pretty slick. You got to give that a try if you haven't done that. But as you can see, I've got this history, but what if I did a chat and I don't really need that chat anymore? You can go to the chat. When you hesitate, you get the ... or you could simply right click. From there, you can share it with other people. You could rename it because it automatically names it. You could delete it. You could add it to a project. So it has this ability to have new projects. So on the project, it's kind of like building a project of all these different chat options that you did. Otherwise, you could just simply delete it. So if you don't need it anymore, you could go ahead and just delete it. You don't need to keep them, kind of keep the list only to the ones that you really need to go back to, the ones that you really need to have access to. So it's unbelievable what you can get. But I want to go back on this left-hand side. In the middle of the window where it says new project, I have 2 projects underneath that. One is called blogs and posts, And if I click on that, it will display the contents of what's inside that project. So a project is where But lastly, on the bottom of the left-hand side of the navigation pane is your profile. If you click your profile, which mine says personal account, you can see I used to have a business account, but I don't use that anymore. This is where you could go that if you had a free account that you started with and you wanted to upgrade, you can come in here and go into upgrade plan. Also, there are settings available. If you open up the settings window, there's different themes, there's languages you can use, there's also voices, there's notification settings you can change if you don't want to use the defaults. There's some personalization, which by the way, I do have some information about security in your handout. When it comes to using this application called ChatGPT, you do have to be very careful with confidential information. You don't put anything confidential in a ChatGPT, ever. This is shared with the companies behind the scenes. So it uses this memory so that it understands you prompt like this. It understands how you ask things, what your patterns are. So it has this memory to help you with your prompts down the road. So it learns what you do. So I don't even put my company name in there. I would never say, how do I write a bankruptcy letter for my company, ABC Company? I would never do something like side of your chat history. But just so you could see, there's also connector options if you want to connect to other systems. I connect to my OneDrive so I can quickly get files. I could connect to my Gmail, any type of connection to another application. There's also schedules, there's data controls, there's security, and there's account information. So you could see your account and what you get with it. If you decided to delete your account or manage your payments, you can access those through here. You could see that I have LinkedIn and some other things also, and I have my business account email added in on the account side of things. But I want to jump back to the left-hand side for just a second, because when it comes to this memory that I was just talking about, you can go to your profile, click Customize ChatGPT. So you don't have to tell it in the prompt. You can fill certain things out. So what should ChatGPT call you? So if you're having a conversation with it, it can actually use your name. What do you do? What is your job title? What is it that you do? What traits should ChatGPT have? Also, you could choose you're chatty, you're a straight shooter, you're a Gen Z, whatever the case is. Those are some examples of what you could be putting in for what traits should GPT have. Because the more you're providing it, the more it will help you with your chat results, your prompt results. So anything else ChatGPT should know about you, you could put that information in there as well. The more you let it know, the better your responses are going to be in the end. Make sure you save it at the bottom so that as you continue to do your different chats, it will be better at responding. We don't have to tell it that information. It will know it automatically. So Matthew, that's what I was going to cover here with ChatGPT. There's even more information in their handouts. So I do encourage everyone to, really go back to their handouts so that there's a lot that they can, learn. And especially since we had some interruption, and I can't apologize enough, you guys, on that. But just so you're aware, everything I said is in that handout. So if they didn't download it yet, they definitely want to do that.